Let's talk about the installation and joining a domain. Now the installation you've actually already saw. The installation isn't any different. The only difference is in the options that we choose when it comes to which edition and which version of Server 2008 we're actually going to install. We just have to select one of the core options. But with core, only clean installations are supported. There is no upgrading and downgrading. It's just what it is. Alright, so we're going to walk through that, but before we do the installation, I want to talk you through, just briefly, the command list that we're going to be using. To begin with, one nice little item, system info. Just a cute little command that will give us the vital stats on a particular machine, like things like, the host name. Of course, we could also use the command host name as well, but system info will give you much more granular information. Now, when you do an initial install, Windows assigns itself kind of this weird random conglomeration of numbers and letters. And so you're going to want to rename that machine. And so here's the command for that. netdom rename computer. And then we put in the current computer name. And that's what we get from using system info or from hostname. Then we put in the new name switch. And then we specify what we want the new computer name to be. Then, after we've renamed the machine, it's going to ask us to restart. And then, in order to join the domain, we need to do a netdom join. And then the computer name that we just changed to. And then /domain with colon and put in the name of the domain. And then last but not least, we specify user account credentials that will allow us to join this computer to that domain. Alright, so the commands aren't that complex. It just takes a little bit of time to memorize them. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to move now on over to the virtual machine. Now you'll see here that I've actually already booted up this virtual machine using the Windows Server 2008 ISO disk. I'm going to go ahead and tell it next and install now. Again, you've seen this before. There's not really going to be anything new except for the option that we select. I'm not going to type my product key. I'll uncheck automatically activate Windows and tell it next. Do I want to enter my key now? No, I do not. Here's where the rubber meets the road, and here are the three options that we have for core installation. Now, I'm only going to be installing a DHCP server, so I really don't need enterprise hardware support. I don't need the data center options. I'm just going to install a standard core server, kind of a no-frills kind of thing, because it's just a DHCP server. It's not anything that's going to have a huge amount of requirements. And so I'm going to lie again until I've selected the edition of Windows that I've purchased. Until it next. I'm going to accept the license terms. Tell it next. Click on custom. And now all I have to do is tell it which disk to install. I only have one disk. That'll be fine. Tell it next. And away it goes. So I'm going to pause the recording now while it copies its files, expands them, and installs them. And then as soon as the machine restarts so we can actually do something else, then I'll come back and start recording again.